Hi. So I've been wanting to talk about the theme of jealousy and judgment between women for a very long time. And I'm very happy because I'm doing this today. And I've been wanting to talk about that because it's a topic that not only impacts how we relate to each other, but also shape the way we allow ourselves to be seen in the world. There are many layers that can hold us back from being seen and fully stepping into our power as women, and one of them is the sister wound. The sister wound is the hurt that shows up between women through jealousy, comparison, lack of trust. It shows up because we don't feel safe with other women. And this often begins in childhood with siblings or through personal experiences where you may have felt judged, betrayed, misunderstood, or not honored by other women. And because of that, you might now feel unsafe to fully trust, shine, or let yourself be witnessed by other women. And instead of showing up authentically, you hold back because you fear to be judged. And this can also show up as jealousy or envy that you feel toward another woman, where part of you is judging her for being a certain way or having something that you don't. And so whatever is your experience with women, I'm here to tell you that all of this can be transmuted into love if you are open to it. Because healing the sister wound and making peace with other women is going to free you. It will change the way you see yourself and other women. It will empower you to create deeper emotional bonds. And instead of contracting in your body when you see another woman shine, compare yourself or just falsely empower her, you will begin to feel an expansion in your heart. And you will feel inspired, empowered, and you'll finally allow yourself to shine. And when a woman is rooted in her authentic feminine light, because this is what this is about, she naturally shifts the way she attracts and relates to men. So instead of unconsciously calling in the distorted masculine men who control, avoid, or just can't hold space for you, your energy will naturally call in men who embody integrity, presence, and devotion, men who lead with love, men who hold firm boundaries and stand strong in authenticity as a reflection of a woman who trusts herself. So in this video, I'm going to share with you practical steps, tools, and practices to transmute all of those blocks into love, trust, and inspiration so you can shine without fear and celebrate other women's light as a reflection of your own. So first, I want to invite compassion here and tell you that it's okay to feel the way you feel. We all did at some point, and many of us judge ourselves so much for feeling jealous or dimming our light. And that's why it's important to also remember history. When we look back to ancient cultures and indigenous traditions, women gathered in circles, they healed together, honored the cycles of life together, and they shared their wisdom openly. They were true sisters, supporting, witnessing, and empowering one another in the community. But somewhere along the way, that connection was broken. And then came patriarchy, a system that has shaped our society for thousands of years. And this system rewarded competition over connection, control over collaboration, and power over love. And within it, women were often turned against one another because divided women are easier to silence. And one of the strongest expressions of patriarchal fear of feminine power was during the witch hunts from the 15th to the 18th centuries in Europe and part of the US too, when women who were healers, midwives, or just simply outspoken were persecuted. And so the sister wound is very deeply connected to the witch wound, which is another topic for another video. But I remember watching documentaries about the witch hunts and feeling just so triggered, seeing how women turned against each other, accusing one another during the trials. But then you realize Like if they didn't betray, they would not survive. And so women's survival at that time often depended on betrayal. And so the feminine collective field, as well as our bodies, still carry the memory of a long history of women being turned against one another. Memories of betrayals, of exile and persecution still live within us. And so unconsciously, there is still this fear of like, if I trust women, they will betray me. And then of course, there is your personal history, the stories and experiences that shaped the way you relate to women. And so for some, it begins in childhood with siblings or in high school too. I had a bit of love and hate relationship with my sister growing up. She's the youngest, and I guess I believe like she got more attention than I did, even though I know it's not true. And so she was always taking my clothes. Well, if you are the oldest sister, you know exactly what I mean here. And so I love my sister so much though. And then at school I was bullied, I was insulted and shamed by other girls. Also, I have an ex who cheated on me with my best friend. Like, I had tons of reasons not to trust women. And for a long time I didn't. And that's also partly why I left my home country so early. I always felt more comfortable with men in my past because I didn't feel judged. And I had a very few girlfriends. I was always protecting myself because I was afraid of being judged. And I was not showing up authentically in my life. So this is how personal history can shape your future if you let it. Being aware of it is important because it gives you the option to choose differently. So the first step to finding peace with other women, but especially with yourself, is awareness and honesty. Like, don't fake what you feel, be real about that. If you feel jealousy or judgment coming up, acknowledge it. Let yourself notice, wow, this is what I'm feeling right now. And you can ask yourself, what exactly is triggering me? What quality does this woman embody that I desire to express in myself? Because this is usually the truth. She's making you feel jealous because she's owning something that you haven't yet allowed yourself to own. And so I remember following several Tantra teachers before I did my teacher training. And I was so fascinated by them, and at the same time I will think like, I wish I could be a little bit more like them. And they were like glowing, being like super confident in their sexual energy, and like you could see it, you could feel it. And so part of me wanted to see their work, you know, and what they were doing on socials, and another part of me like didn't want to look at that because I was feeling so triggered and I was comparing myself. And so they will post something and it will be like, you know, I want to see, but I don't want to see, you know, like I look, but I don't look. I like, but I don't like. All of this happened because a part of me really wanted to own that glow, you know? And so these women have shown me what I was ready to claim within myself. Triggers are gifts. Now, if you judge a woman because she's sexy, because she's beautiful, because she's confident, or because she doesn't meet your idea of beauty, that judgment is just an externalized fear, a part of yourself that you haven't yet accepted. And so the truth is that if you fully embrace your sensuality, your sexuality, your beauty, your intelligence, your fun side, your uniqueness, you would not need to shame it in others. So instead of pushing it away, let it become an inspiration and turn it into a prayer. Put an intention on it. Like, you can tell yourself, thank you for showing me what's possible. I choose to embody this in my own way, in my own timing. So I also want to give you some practical ways to work with triggers, because when we don't practice, we don't learn. And so if a woman's sensuality, for example, triggers you, take a step back and notice where you feel this trigger in your body. And place a hand wherever you feel it. And this part of you is asking to be seen, to be felt, and to be welcomed. And so the idea here is to feel this part and tell her what she longs to hear. And this could be, I am here, I see you, we are going to work on this together, we are a team, whatever feels good for you to say. And so you want to visualize an energy of compassion, the energy of love flowing from your hands to this space, and give it a color, the color that feels the most compassionate and loving for you. What I also like to do whenever like a triggers come up is putting my hands on this place, the specific place where you feel it in your body, and make a sound, because it helps loosen the tension or the emotion stored in this specific place. So the sound that wants to come out is the one that will shift the energy in the body. So it's your body asking you to speak and let go. And so this look like something like and shake a little bit. This helps like release whatever is in the body. And then you want to take one action. So this part is really important, because this is how you embody the quality that you suppress within yourself. So if you feel jealous about a woman's sensuality, for example, schedule some time for yourself and put on some sensual music and let your hips move for a few minutes to reconnect with this side of yourself, or just like do some hip circles like this. This is going to help you reconnect with your sensuality and your feminine side. If you feel jealous about a woman's success, take a step to acknowledge your own success and your own growth. If you feel jealous about a woman's love life, do something nurturing that makes you feel cherished, like lighting candles for yourself, taking a bath, or just like buying yourself flowers. And so combining awareness, embodied compassion, and action is the recipe for self-love, because without action, you're telling yourself and you're telling your body, oh, I'm just kidding. No, it's not important. I'm just kidding anyway. Right? So combining those three is the recipe for success. I also want to say that you don't have to like every woman or resonate with them. They are simply appearing on your path to mirror something about yourself. You will know that you've integrated the parts when you can feel neutral or even inspired by the women who once triggered you. On the flip side, when we feel judged by other women and we are not rooted in our light, their jealousy can feel like a real threat. And so instead of observing, we start absorbing their projection as if they were true. And so imagine your energy field, like your light is strong, is bright, and your aura is shining. But if you feel insecure about yourself, your voice, your gift, your beauty, you will unconsciously allow other women's judgment to enter your aura and weaken it. It's like giving them power over your energy simply because you don't fully trust yourself. And so instead of shining and standing strong in your power, you dim your light or you second guess yourself to avoid making others uncomfortable. And when you trust your light, their shadows no longer stick to you because you remain centered, confident, and free. And so personally, what I do is a lot of body work, a lot of body practices, because I prioritize this in my life. Because when we are connected to the body, we are incarnated, we are connected. And when we are there in the mind, we are feeling more anxious and we are more sensitive to absorb other people's energy. And so that's why I clear my energy field, I ground myself, I reconnect every day with both like my higher self and divine source energy and the earth, through practices that bring me back home to my body. So for me, connecting above and below is essential. It keeps me centered, rooted, and strong in my own energy. And so I also like to combine it with like small doses of vulnerability by speaking my truth here on video with you, for example, or in conversation, because the more you open in ways that feel safe for your body, the more you increase your capacity to hold more light, authenticity, and allow yourself to be seen. I love also working with archetype. So archetype are like mirrors, you know, when you feel triggered by another woman, it's often because she is embodying an archetype that you have suppressed, rejected, or judged within yourself. So by working consciously with this archetype, you reclaim those parts of you and you dissolve the emotional charge between you and other women. So when I do body practices, I love including archetype to work with. For example, if you feel triggered or judgmental toward a woman who dresses very provocatively, you know, someone who shows off her body, someone who is very open sexually, you may be suppressing the slut archetype, the part of you that exudes raw sensuality, sexual freedom, magnetic confidence, and the right to be desired and seen. If you feel skeptical, for example, or dismissive of women who are like mystical, spiritual, or deeply devoted to rituals, you may be suppressing your priestess energy, the one that brings wisdom, intuition, sacred rituals, and connection to the divine. She sees life as a prayer and she lives with intention. Everything she does is from a place of devotion. And if you are very judgmental towards yourself in general, you may want to work with Mother Earth archetype, who brings like this compassionate and nurturing energy. So this is my vision of Mother Earth archetype, but my friend, for example, she sees her like this. We are all different, right? And we have all different vision of Mother Earth. And so I love putting the archetype on my phone background because this helps connect with them. And so Mother Earth archetype, she's deeply compassionate and very nurturing, as I said. And I know that so many women carry this weight of harsh self-judgment. And so Mother Earth reminds you that you are one of her children. You will always be supported by her. She has your back. She receives you exactly as you are without condition. So when you feel triggered, call on her. Connect with her energy. I like to visualize a flourishing garden blooming from my heart and butterflies flying from that garden into another woman's heart. And so that's my way of sending love. Can I love and feel inspired by this woman who is perfectly imperfect creation of nature? Can I hold her in this beautiful light and thanks her for reminding me who I am? This is the spirit of Mother Earth. There are many ways to work and embody the archetype, and my favorite way of doing it is through dance, and music. And so I have a playlist for each archetype that I've been working on, and I have selected music that carries the frequency of their essence. And many of us do that already without even realizing it. Tell me what music you are listening to, and I will tell you what phase of your life you're in right now. Because the song that we feel drawn to often mirror the archetype that we are embodying. And music carries this frequency of these energies. For example, Dirty by Christina Aguilera embodies the slut archetype. Or Run the World by Beyonce channels the queen empowered feminine archetype. The Mystic Dream by Lorena McKennitt opens the priestess energy. And so right now I'm listening to a lot of Celtic Viking type of vibe music and feeling super drawn to the mystic warrior archetype. But a few weeks ago I was listening to rock style and I was more into the rebel archetype. So to work with an archetype, I set the intention to embody her fully. I dance to the music that awakens her energy in my body. I reflect on her qualities and also her shadow side. And I invite her in through meditation and just connect with her energy in general. I like to use clothing, colors, or symbolic pieces that remind me of her, and I just invite her in my everyday life until I can truly claim this part of myself. So I also want to talk about the people-pleasing archetype. So if you've learned that being yourself might trigger jealousy, rejection, or criticism from other women, you may have unconsciously adapted by shrinking, overgiving, or just people-pleasing to keep the peace. And also, I don't know about you, but I grew up with Cinderella, with Ariel and Snow White. And so when you think about that, Cinderella, she stays small and overgive to keep peace with her jealous stepsisters. Snow White's beauty triggers the queen's jealousy. Ariel literally give up her own voice to be loved. And so then we ask ourselves, like, why we people please and hide, right? Crazy. I also grew up with Little House on the Prairie that was on the TV every day in my country. And so this series gives you like this image of the hardworking, self-sacrificing like family, and the girls are the embodiment of the good girl. I could never wear this type of skirt because of the series, because I was associating it with the good girl archetype. So I used to feel so triggered by women who are sweet, who people please, or always want to keep the peace, the I am a good girl type of vibe. Funny thing, when people will meet me, they will tell me, you're so sweet, you're such a sweet girl, you have such a sweet energy. And this used to trigger me so much, because I was like, no, I'm not sweet, like I don't have a sweet energy, like no. And inside of me was like, I am a rebel, I am not sweet. And obviously that showed me that some work needed to be done on the good girl archetype, because I was not accepting this part of me. And so I did two things to embody the people pleaser archetype. First, I put a song, Small House in the Prairie song, with the skirt like that I would have never wear before. And I just danced on the song with the skirt. And I just felt my feeling like while doing it, just like all the memories and the thoughts and everything that was coming up. And I had so many thoughts like, oh, Noemi, you're being ridiculous right now. Like, this is so stupid. Like all this thought coming up, so much resistance came up. And at the end, I was just like laughing about it. And then I spent a day where I said yes to everyone to integrate the archetype. And so I forced the archetype. I forced the people pleaser. And so I've worked with Cinderella energy, and I put on plain clothes, tied my hair, and consciously I move with the posture of like someone who is like shrinking, And so when you do this experiment, you realize everything, trust me, because your intention is into identifying where you are people pleasing. And so I've noticed myself like changing my voice, like, hey, can I help you with that? And I was like screaming inside of me, like, no, I don't want to be doing this, but this is so good to feel your feeling of frustration, of resentment and anger and everything else. And this practice made me be aware, of all this moment that I was like giving my power away. And so instead of changing my behavior to fit in or believing that people will only accept me if I show up a certain way, I started to get to stay rooted in my truth, and that shifted everything. So working with the people pleaser is very helpful. And then the queen archetype too, because this is the type of energy that says not everyone is meant to sit at my table. And this is going to help you break free from the unconscious desire to betray yourself just to be accepted by other women. And so you're going to create more honest, authentic connection, because you're no longer saying yes when your body means no. So I think this is going to be a two-part video, because there is a lot already to digest with this video and think about. So I will be sharing more practices that have worked for me in the past in the next video next week, which are more connected to healing your personal history with women and becoming more aware of the relationship dynamics playing in your life today. So if this video resonated with you, make sure to watch for part 2, and we'll go even deeper together. And if you feel called to do this work, if you feel that somehow this is going to benefit you, but you're not sure about your triggers, the archetype, what to integrate, what to do, and you want to have someone that guides you through this and help you release and integrate, reach out to me by filling out the form below, and I will contact you to schedule a session. Take care.